Uh, it's a great privilege for me to have been here. I sincerely want to appreciate you for granting me this opportunity to be among the top personnel in this place. It's a great privilege. I won't take this for granted. Okay, so also confirm if you can see my screen as well. That's also key.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, all right. Let's just go straight to business. I want to also welcome
I
you.
can see your screen.
Okay, good. I also want to welcome everyone. Yes, to this today's section with safety moments with Wali Lai. Yesterday we celebrated the World First Aid Day, and being a norms for Mr. Wali Lai safety moments, we need to have a discussion for every Sundays, and we come up with celebrating the World First Aid Day today as well. So the theme for the World First Aid Day this year simply focus on what we call first aid in the digital world. You all agree with me in 2020s, like 20, late 2019 and 2020, we have a pandemic that makes a lot of people goes into more digital. Example of such and a beneficiary of it is the one we are doing currently. So what is the basic idea about this thing is just that telling us here that first aid can be learned in any space we find ourselves. That is, we can go online, read about what first aid is, get more knowledge about first aid. So once again, I also want to say thank you for coming on board. I've seen a lot of my boss on this call that wants to come and learn and relearn and learn, which is key to us. Okay, so another significance of celebrating World First Aid Day is also to remind everybody that irrespective of your professions, you must have a save life skill. So you must be able to save someone. So first aid happens to be one of the best skills in the world that you must know, irrespective of where you find yourself, because emergency, nobody planned for it or nobody decide to call for emergency. But in as much as we are not planning for this emergency, we also want to be prepared for the emergency. I don't know if I'm still talking. I don't know if you can still hear me.
We can hear you live and clear.
All right,
Yes,
good,
We
sir. We
can
good,
can
hear
hear
you
you loud and clear, sir.
good,
loud
good,
and clear, sir.
good,
Yes, very well.
good, 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 good. So first thing has now advanced. So what we just want to do here, we want to remind us some skills of first aid. We also want to remind us the latest guidelines in first aid. Okay, and do not forget the word, the digital word simply means you can learn first aid online as well. But at the end of the day, they will still ask you to locate a nearest bodies where you can have hands-on. Ideally, yes, in as much I don't agree to definitions, I don't agree to theoretical about first aid. First aid is practical, is really practical, right? Because if you said you want to learn about the theory, you tend to forget them. But if you want to do the practice, so the digital world now comes in here. This is where you want to go see more videos, see more visual things, and learn and relearn about first aid. Okay, so let's move on. Yes, within this short space of our time, we'll be looking at this. This is going to be our guidelines. Like we're going to look at the principles and practice of first aid. We're going to see first aid kits and materials. We're going to learn or remind ourselves what basic life support is, which is referred as BLS. We're also going to see the CPR, the use of the AED, and putting someone in the recovering position, choking, fainting, and shock convulsion. So this is just going to be of our bench. And do not forget that first aid is very in as much I don't want to use the word technical, is something that one needs to know and one needs to get used to. Okay, so let's move on. So the principles and practice of first aid, it's simple. I like starting my class this with the significance of first aid. The significance. What do you refer as the significance? Why is first aid so very much important? The number one reason here is that it says that if someone stops breathing, which we refer as cardiac arrest, when the heart stop working, the person, the survival rate of the person is between 4 to 6 minutes, right? So this is where it's very technical. When someone stops breathing, the heart has stopped beating, right? Every other cells in the body except the brain. So to prevent the brain from damaging, this is where we need to practice our what we call effective CPR. Okay, let me remind us that we have the five different things. We have CPR and we have effective CPR. So people just said, "Oh, I know how to do CPR." Before you know, they will go and do CPR and break somebody's ribs, right? So there are technicals, there are techniques to this. Another reason why first aid is very important is that over 70% of all cardiac arrests, what we refer cardiac arrests, also means when the heart stops working, they occur at home, in the house. Okay, even the recent statistics says that for every 5 homes or 10 homes in 3 months, they experience cardiac arrest. So if you are in your house and somebody's just heart stop beating and fall down, don't forget that the person's survival rate is between the 4 to 6 minutes. What do we do? So 70% is very critical. So another significance is that accident injuries are the leading cause to death in children. Yes, and over 60 million children a year into the emergency rooms, right? Another significance is that 1.5 million heart attacks occur each year. Approximately this, we have 350 victims die before reaching an hospital. 1.5 million people have suffered heart attack, but on getting to the hospital, we have the significance of these fellows dying before getting to the hospital. All right. Then we also have the American Heart Association has also estimated that 100 to 200 lives of adults and children could be saved each year if CPR was performed early enough. So CPR is so crucial that we need to start as early as possible, right? So first aid is very significant. So celebrating World First Aid Day is also an avenue, as I said, to remind us the significance of the first aid, to let us understand that irrespective of who you are, you have the right to learn and to know what first aid is. Yes, some people want these certifications just to, for the few of us in this part of this country, Nigeria, we want to leave this country to another country. It becomes a requirement for them to, before you can find yourself in that country, you must have this as a requirement, right? So it's very significant and it's very, very key. So I'm going to move on. Another significance is that approximately 7 million adults and children suffer from disability injuries in their homes. Yes, this is key. This is true. We can't deny this. Majority of accidents or incidents that happens in the house. And they said each year resulting from accident that requires CPR. Okay, to the American Heart Association. So some common causes of sudden death. Some causes of sudden death that can happen within the house are the electrical shock, the heart attack, drowning, severe allergic reaction, choking, drug overdose, and suffocations. You are going to agree with me that this is true. This is true. You go agree with me that if I start asking one or two people to start unmuting your mic and tell me, have you never experienced within the space of the beginning of this year than this month we have, haven't you seen where somebody has been electrocuted? Haven't you seen where somebody's heart attack or somebody has just fainted or haven't you seen where somebody has been drug overdose? It is true. These are real. These are common things. But in this part of our country, we find people in these situations, but help we can't help them. We don't know what to do. This is why we are also celebrating first aid, that you need to learn the skills. It's a reminder to you. So another significance of one of the celebration of first aid is that you don't need to wait for a professional to come in and tell you one or two things. It's something you can get in your click of your eye. You can go into you can go online. A lot of platforms are there. As we are right now, you can just carry your phone and type first aid. Before you know, you've been able to a lot of download comes into you. When it becomes critical to you is that you need someone to explain better to you. So most times there is always a clause to it that before you can practice what you see on the video, make sure you are licensed, make sure you are certified, right? But it's also saying that it shouldn't stop you for not getting the knowledge. And I'm going to round up with the significance of the word first aid here. It says that retraining and retention of CPR training is a major requirement. Is that a requirement that there are basic trainings you must know? I think I stumbled on a requirement that when you have a staff more than 20 or 30, it is required that you train them on CPR. It is required that you train them on fire safety. Now a major requirement is legal. Now that you as a person, that is why in the outside world there, you find that one or two people can practice majorly CPR, which is very key, because they know that anything can happen. They don't prepare for it, but it can happen. And studies have shown another reason why we celebrate World First Aid Day. Studies have shown that memory of CPR skills and knowledge tend to deteriorate as early as 3 months. Yes, it is correct, which is very true. When you're done with training, okay, you've attended the training, the next thing you're good. If you are not practicing, if not that you'll be waiting or you'll be planning that now that I've learned CPR, now that I know how to carry some basic first aid training, I want somebody's heart stops working. The next thing I jump on the person and start, hey, let me practice. I'm not gurus. No, what it's just trying to say is that you need a retraining. Even most times, I've seen this. I've seen where doctors and nurses most times tend to forget how to perform CPR. And I started by saying that there are quite different things in terms of what we refer as effective CPR and normal CPR. I still want to confirm if I'm still on air. Can you confirm if I'm still on air?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Go
Chief,
ahead.
go on.
All right, good. Thank you for that. All right, so what is now first aid? It's very simple. It's still the same, our basic understanding. We said is initial care, the first treatment, first thing we do to a sick person, or the first thing we do to an injured person before the arrival of the medical practitioner. Now, I would like to remind us of some certain things here. The first thing to do, yes, but the appropriate method to do it and qualified help arrives. Okay, let me also bring into our notice here, but for few of us that in Nigeria here, I realize and I know that majority of people connect from us outside the country. I celebrate that, and you're actually welcome. There is what we call good practices, and there is what we call standards. What do I refer as good practices here? Good practices here means that things that they've been doing, but it has been working. Something that they've been doing, but it has been working, right? But that's what they refer as, because they've been doing it and it's working out. That's what they refer as good practices. But is that a standard? No. A typical example is this. Before now, I'm going to use 2 examples. Before now, if somebody faints or slumped, for an example, the next available thing we start looking for is water, right? Then they pour the person's water on the head. Before you know, the person recovers. Because the person was able to respond, I believe that the water is the one that generates the consciousness. No, but they then need to start. So the next time somebody faints, they look for water. That is what they call good practices. Oh, it has been working. That's not the standard. Another good example that I love that this has really changed. Before now, if someone is electrocuted, like what we refer as electrocuted, the lights, the person and the lights there is still there, dangling there. The next thing we look for, we are not going to think how to remove the source of the electricity. The next thing we are thinking is to get 2x2 or 3x3 and hit the person. But now that has changed, right? That has changed to the extent that what do we do now is we look for where the source is and we remove. But because they were doing it then, that using stick to kick out the person or pouring water on somebody who has fainted, they become workable. No, that is what refers to good practices. But the standard says do not even do all those things because of the complications. So that is where the appropriate method comes in. And available materials, which is going to be convenient for the person. Then another considerations we need to put is qualified help. Don't forget the definition says that the first thing we do to somebody who is injured, the first thing we do to somebody who is sick before the arrival of the medical practitioner or before the person is taken to the hospital. The arrival of the medical practitioner, are they qualified? So that's why we need to do the right thing. We need to do the standard thing in giving out first aid. So that is where the definition said the initial care, the appropriate method, the standard ways we need to do things, right? So that takes me to which I said the initial care given to a casualty before the qualified help arrives or the qualified person is reached. Okay, so why do I have to do first aid? Why do we need to do first aid? Or why are we also celebrating first aid, World First Aid Day? As I said, the first and foremost thing we want to do is to save a life. That's the first thing. We want to save somebody's life. Then it has come to our notice as practitioners that the other two are not put into considerations. What they just after is to save somebody's life, right? But we've forgotten the fact that we need to prevent the condition from getting worsened. That is one thing. Another thing, we also want to promote quick recovery. Now, what are the dangers for the two examples I stated earlier? What are the dangers that if someone is electrocuted, I bring in stick and hit the person off, or I pour in water to this person while the person has fainted? The risk and danger is this. The stick can cause what we call an internal injury or can lead to what we call fracture. It could be open fracture, it could be closed fracture. That is the risk. Have I been able to achieve my aims? No, I have just worsened the guy's situations. If the guy successfully was rescued from the electricity, good. And at the end of the day, you find out that his hands or his leg is broken. He's not going to be happy. You're trying to save his life, but you've just complicates issues to him. So that's why majority of people believe that, oh, since it has been working, let's keep using it. No, we need to practice the standard, right? The next is promote quick recovery. What is another danger and risk of pouring somebody's water who has fainted? Do not forget that, I'm going to get there, that there are far different things. Somebody who fainted does not mean the person is not breathing. Fainting simply means that the person needed rest or inadequate supply of blood to the brain. So now, the risk and danger is that pouring water on this person can lead to what we call secondary drowning. What do I refer as secondary drowning here? The lungs consist of air. Any liquid like water introduced into the lungs is what refers as secondary drowning. That is a drop of water introduced. So pouring water on the person's face, there is orifice on the face. Orifices are where we have holes. We have eyes, we have nose, we have the mouth. The water can go through the nose to the lungs. It becomes a problem to this person. But we are trying to save this person's life. We are forgetting the fact that we want to prevent the condition from getting worsened. I don't know if I'm communicating. If I'm communicating, this is me. I just want to see us in the chat box who said yes, no, yes, no. Okay. The voice is not clear. Wow. Can you confirm? Hello, am I audible enough?
Yeah, very audible, please.
Very clear, very clear.
Yes, very audible.
It's clear. Carry on.
All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you. You're communicating. Yes, I love this. Thank you. So these are the reason why we do first aid. So let's move on. I don't know the reason why I do first aid. How do I carry out my first aid on this person? How do I put in my first aid on this person? I have three things here. We call it element of first aid. Who is that? Off your mic. Elements or scopes of first aid. Three things here. We have the diagnosis, we have the treatment, we have the disposal. Under the diagnosis, we have the signs, we have yeah, who is this? Tawalid, are you there? Can you help me mute the person whose mic is on? Okay, good. Sorry. Okay, all right. Can you still hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, good.
Loud and clear, sir.
Over our time. All right. So the elements and scopes of first aid, we have three things, as I've said. We have the diagnosis, we have the treatment, and we have the disposal. Now, diagnosis here, under diagnosis, three things also involved: the signs, the symptoms, and history. What do I refer as the sign? Signs are what we see on casualty. What we see is wrong with this person. What we first aider can see on this person. That's, oh, a good example, somebody who just while he's trying, let's say a carpenter in a workshop, while he's working or he's trying to cut a wood and he was distracted, then the next thing, the saw cut off the hands. The next I'm going to see is separated hands. Yes, I'm going to see, what's it called, blood coming out from the finger, which I'm very correct. The possibility, I'm going to see this person sweating profusely, start looking restlessly, the eyes start turning something else. These are signs. These are what I can see is on casualty, right? But for symptoms, symptoms are what the casualty tells us that is wrong with them. We cannot see symptoms. We don't see symptoms. The information the casualties give us that this is what is wrong with me. Okay, how do I know this? If I walk up to this person and I said, how are you feeling? And the person said, I'm feeling pain all over my body. You will agree with me that I cannot see pain as a person. I can't see it, right? Is the person feeling it? The person tell me, oh, my head is doing as if he wants to remove from my neck. I don't even know how he's doing me. I can't see them. Those are symptoms. What is now history? History is either the narration of an event or what an external party tells what is wrong, or a clue or something is wrong with this person, or giving us a clue that something is wrong. Let me just do a quick example here about history. Let's say you walk into your parlor or you walked into your workstations, you find someone lying down, and the person is lying down, you find bottles of beers around him. What will come into your mind is like, oh, this person is drunk. But you've not carried out your assessment, right? But you just assume or you want to conclude that as early as possible this morning, this person is already drunk because you could see the bottles of beers around. The bottle was able to give you an idea what has happened. Or while you're on your road, while you are driving, you find out that two vehicles hit themselves, right? You just know, oh my God, this is an accident. You might start thinking, oh, could it be brake failure? It's like the driver is not looking where, maybe he's sleeping. The scenarios there, these are history, just to tell you what really happened. And that is how we operate, okay? So that's how you can know the severity of an injury on a casualty. Having considered that, the treatment now, the treatment still stands for first aid. The first thing you are going to do, oh, somebody's hand has been cut. What do I need to do? Get a bandage and tie it up, right? Now, the disposal here, disposal simply means taking this person to the nearest hospital. Don't think disposing this person to the nearest hospital, right? No, you take this person to the nearest hospital. Okay, that's what disposal means here. That's what we refer as elements or scopes of first aid. Having discussed the elements and scopes of first aid, we move ahead to what we refer as casualty examinations. Casualty examination here simply means that it's part of the diagnosis. So we have two parts. We have what we call the primary survey and what we call the secondary survey. Now, the primary survey, I make a scenario earlier. I make what's it called? Example by when I was trying to give an example about history. When you walked into your workstation and you find someone lying down, you just assume, right? Sometimes in health and safety, we like using the word we don't assume. We don't assume. You want to find out what really happened, right? Okay. So primary survey simply means you want to further go ahead and find out what has happened. This is the first thing you want to do. So how do I carry out my primary survey here? I want to check if this guy can respond to external stimulus, and he responds to noise, which is noise, and he responds to pain, which is like going closer to this person and tap gently. Can he respond to sounds? Can he respond to any external stimulus? Oh, this guy cannot respond. I want to check if the airways is open, because the research shows that for somebody to be in a state of unconsciousness, the tongue is blocking airways. I need to open the airways. How do I open the airways? Which is another simple steps we see. I hope you can see me like this. So how do I open an airways, which is simple? One of the hand on the forehead this way, the other one under the chest. I just need to take this press. So by lifting so that this flat, the tongue can to check if this guy is breathing. Can I confirm if this guy is breathing? Is he still breathing? If he's not breathing, that is when I'll move on to the next one. Oh. Hope you can still hear me. Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, loud and clear.
I got the notifications that my network is okay. Since you can hear me, let's move on. So I want to check if this guy is breathing. Now, if this guy is breathing, that is when that can take me to what we call secondary survey. Secondary surveys is head to toe examinations. Okay, let me quickly explain this. Let's say a guy is walking at height, for an example. He's walking on height, and before you know, he was distracted. He falls down on the floor. I walked in there. I carry out my primary surveys. I check for response, check for airways, I check if this guy is breathing, and I find out that this guy is breathing, right? Because I'm a first aider. I have the mentality in me that if somebody who is working at height falls, he can suffer what we call spinal cord injury or fracture. So because I know the implications, if I move this person anyhow, I need to start doing, provided the person can talk, I will now do what we call head-to-toe means I start pressing. Let me see if I'll open my video again. You can see me. I can start pressing gently like this from the head down, this way, this way, this way. I press till I get to the toe. What am I looking for? I want to find out if this guy has not suffered secondary conditions. Probably why he fell down. Yes, he's still breathing. I want to find out. I hope you've not broken the leg. I hope your spine has not been broken. You can also ask questions. Can you respond to me? Can you make a fix? These are what we refer to. So to just find out that. So if I've been able to carry out the secondary survey, I will know the right first aid to do. The primary survey is key. Primary survey is telling us that you must first and foremost find out if this guy breathing. That's the first thing you must find out. Is this guy breathing? If he's breathing, go for secondary survey. But if he's not breathing, commence your CPR. Okay. Having looked into this, we move ahead. What is now my duties as a first aider? What do I do as a first aider? It's simple. One of the first aider's duty is to check for your safety. You want to find out if you are safe. Your safety is very, very key. Look around your surroundings, you check your environment, find out you are good. Having find out your environment, an assessment. You make sure assessing your carry out a serious assessment of the environment, like looking at for possible hazard. looking out for something that can also put you in danger. What do I mean here? For an example, you have a car, a collision car while you are driving, a two tank, let's say a tank, or yes, a truck rather, carrying PMS, that's diesel or petrol, and ran into it, and you said you want to practice first aid. You agree with me, you don't want to go, except you want to go and take fuel to put inside your car, since maybe you're already driving and your fuel gauge is already telling you, I will stop, I will stop, I will stop. And the next thing you find out, hey, petrol is leaking. You run into there and start pouring, put into the jerry can and put inside your motor, and you run away. Right? Except if you want to do that. But if you really want to save somebody's life is key, that you don't want to go in, because what are the risks? It can lead to exposure. Wow. Okay. Before you know, you can also be involved. Then you as a first aider, you also want to carry out what we call diagnosis, which I've explained under the signs, symptoms, and history. What the casualty feels, or the external clue around you to tell you what this person has suffered. The next, you go ahead with your primary first aid. It's still the first thing you do to the person. Do not forget the word, the appropriate method, the appropriate ways. Do not do the good practices. Don't say, I remember when that guy, we do one that time. The day we did, sorry, I'm speaking broken, right? I could remember the way we held him. I know that guy was very strong. He tied him very well. Oh, is that the standard? If it's the standard, you must recognize what this person has suffered by carrying out your diagnosis. The next, you give the appropriate medical treatment, appropriate first aid. Then always, which is the aftercare, take this person to the nearest hospital to seek doctor for further treatment. It's key. Don't forget that your first aid is just the first thing you want to do. Telling somebody sorry is also what we call a psychological first aid. It gives them the heart, give them the assurance. Okay. Then the next is reports. You report your findings. So let's say if you are in a working station, you are one of the first aid person on site. You must do your findings. You must record your findings. Okay, this is what I could do. This is what I found out. You get the person's name, you write them down, and if possible, you write the name of the hospital you refer the person to. I still want to believe I'm still communicating, and if I'm still communicating, I still want to see the example. Yes, no. I don't know if we are enjoying ourselves together. Okay, can I have that?
Yes.
Yes, you are communicating. Yeah.
All right, good. Okay, thank you. I've seen that. Let's move ahead. After knowing the duties or designation of a first aider, this is another key things we need to know. Calling an emergency line. In Nigeria, 767 or 112 is our emergency line. It's very key. When you are calling an emergency line, what is the thing? 112. Okay. So 112 or 767 is very key. These are our emergency lines, right? The first thing you want to know is your name is very key. Your destination is very key. This is one thing we tend to not do. We don't like giving our names. They won't do anything with names. They want to know who they are speaking with. They want to know, they might even want to find out if you are the right person to do one or two things before they arrive, right? You want to give them your name, which is key. Your destination is key. The next is, if you know the nature and the causes of accidents, no problem, go ahead. Oh, fire accident, road traffic accident, oh, medical accident, like this person just fall down and just find out that he just fall down, right? Or if these are optionals, if you know the condition of the person, no problem. These are other key things. If you know the numbers of casualties, can you know the numbers of casualty? Let's say a collapsed building, and they tell you in an apartment, 4 people at least stays there. You have an idea if it is 5 apartments or 4 apartments. Oh, 4 times 5, 20. But if you don't know, no problem. But the priority things is that you want to give your name, you want to give the nature of accidents. The next, you want to give the location. The location is very, very, very key. The location of an accident is very key. we in Nigeria here, don't just pick the name of streets. For an example, Ajayi Street. No, Ajayi Street is many. You can have Ajayi Street in Aja, you can have in Bariga, you can have in Lagos Island. It's very, they are diverse area. You want to give the specific, if you know the bus stop, the geographical location is another key area. But and you also want to give a landmark, something that they can easily look up to, right? That is how we can call an ambulance. So I move on because of our time. What are the first aid kits we are expected to have? Now, I would just like to say this, according to standard, is that depending on your workstations, depending on where you work, you are not expected to have anything liquid or drugs. But for an example, if you are in a station where you have medical practitioners like nurse, like doctor, you can have drugs because they are licensed to prescribe drugs, right? It is not your duty as a first aider to give out drugs to anyone. The implication is that you can worsen the person's situation. For example, give out a drug and the drug does not work for the right, go straight to the liver and affect the liver. Before you know, the person can have what we call you can have what we call what's this event that affect the liver. Let me recall. It's hepatitis. Yes, hepatitis, right? So you just want to be careful, right? That's why most times require drugs, let them get it to the hospital, because a lot of things can be wrong with us that they will need to carry out a thorough check-up to know the specific drugs to use. So these are just the basic things we can have in our first aid kit. We can have our bandages, we can have our cotton wool, our gauze bandage, septic wipe, septic adhesives, pins, disinfectants, embrocations, plaster, scissors, gloves is key, blankets, tweezers, even yes, face shield or nose masks, we refer as CPR masks, then what's it called? Okay, another key area we also need to consider while practicing our first aid is hygiene. It's very, very key. It's part of your safety. And when you want to take care of someone, for a good example, someone who is bleeding, you must put on the gloves. Or you find out someone who is having a convulsion or is having epilepsy, you want to, why you want to attend to this person. The reason is just because that you don't want to attract germs to yourself, neither do you want to pass to this guy. So it is very key that you practice housekeeping, and you must use your hand glove frequently. It's just part of your safety, right? So have a look into that. I believe so far so good. We've been communicating. Okay, because of our time, I'm going to move straight to what we refer as the basic life support. What we refer as the basic life support here, which majority of people call the BLS, as I explained earlier, is a primary survey. It's the first thing you want to do to all any casualties. As soon as you find anyone, your priority is to find out if they are breathing. That's the priority here. If they are breathing. If they are not breathing, you want to move straight to your CPR, which is the pulmonary resuscitation. But the first thing you want to do, that's why it's called the basic life support. The basic thing you need to know, the basic thing you need to put into considerations. In some slide, I'll tell you the first aid considerations. The first thing you want to know at all in your mind is like, is this person still breathing? So, how do I carry out the BLS? Which is simple. How do I know if this person is breathing? I want to approach the scene simply. I'm going to play a short video on that shortly. You want to approach the scene safely. Then you want to check if this person can respond. Checking for response. You want to call this person's name. If you know the person's name, you want to go closer and tap the shoulder gently. Don't shake this person vigorously so that the neck or head is short. Now, if the person is not responding, it's required that you want to shout for help. Right? Hello, is anybody there? Hello? Guy is not responding.
Yes.
Okay, okay. This guy is not responding, and uh, this guy is not responding. Next thing, you want to go ahead and open the airways. While you open the airways, you want to check, is this guy breathing? It's very key, as I've said. Is this guy breathing? Two things here. If he's breathing, you either want, once you've confirmed if this guy is breathing, you want to carry out your head to toe examinations, or you put in a after doing that, you can put in a recovering position. But if this guy is he not breathing, if he's not breathing, you want to perform the 30 chest compression and give what we call 2 ventilations. This is what we call the CPR. Let's leave the big grammar. They will say the cardio, the pulmonary, the resuscitation. Cardio, pulmonary, resuscitation. Cardio means the heart region or the chest region. The pulmonary means the circulation of blood around the body system from the lungs to the chest to the body. Then the resuscitation is to bring this person back to life. So the key thing here is that you must perform an effective CPR on this fellow, and you must give an effective mouth-to-mouth ventilations. So how do I perform an effective CPR? Okay, I'm going to open my window here so you can see. How do I perform an effective CPR? Is key. The first and foremost thing you want to do, someone is lying down, you want to locate the right place to compress. So looking at the chest of the fellow, you want to draw an imaginary line between the 2 nipples of the chest. You want to draw an imaginary line this way. I hope you're seeing me. Are you guys seeing me?
Yes,
sir.
we are seeing the.
All right, good. I know I'm not handsome. Don't worry about the handsomeness. So in between the 2 nipples, you want to draw an imaginary line like this. So in the center of the body, you also want to draw an imaginary line. So where the lines meet, in the intersection of the line, that's where you are compressing. For someone, from a guy who has a breast, right? Who has a breast and the nipple has fallen to probably to the stomach. That makes the work complication for us, right? So what's the another means for us to do? It's simple. Last bone of the ribs here, you want to trace it up. When you trace the last bone of the ribs up, where it meets, which is called the sternum, just put 2 fingers the way I do. Your other hand that you want to do to compress, come above the hand this way. That's where you're compressing. And you're using the heel of the hand. You use the heel of the hand, not the palm of the finger. The heel of the hand, then you interlock your hands this way. I hope you're able to see that. You interlock your hand, you perform 30 chest compression, an effective 30 chest compression. And after you're done with the 30 chest compression, do the mouth-to-mouth ventilation. Okay, I'm going to play a video now. Okay. Okay, I'm going to play a video now to see. I'm going to play 2 videos here. The first video will be when the guy is not breathing, while the second video will be when the guy is breathing. Okay, so let's go for this first. Okay. Can we see the video?
Yes.
Yes, I can see your video.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I can see it.
Yes, we can see the video.
Hello?
Yeah.
All right, good. So let's see
Yes.
this video. Okay.
What's up?
We see the placement of the hand is using the heel of the hand. The elbows are straightening. Your back needs to be straight on this person's back. The chest needs to be aligned with the person's chest. That is how to perform an effective CPR. And you do 30 chest compression. That is how to perform an effective CPR. So let me also place this video. Yes, this also. Okay. Where are you? Where are you? Can we also see this? Can we see this?
Yes, we can see it. Very
Yes,
clear.
we can see
Yeah, we
We can
can
see
see
it,
Yes.
but no sound.
So the aim and objective of the video or the compression is circulation of blood around the body system and the mouth-to-mouth ventilations. That is the, so you can only perform CPR. Please, you can only perform CPR when the person is not breathing. When the person is not breathing. If the person is breathing, what do I do? So let's see if the person is breathing, what do I do? Okay, the person is breathing. Easy here.
No sound, no sound.
Can you please unmute the video? We are only seeing the actions, but not sound, please.
Okay, so that is, oh, someone just speak now. I didn't hear that. Okay, let's just move on. So that is how we can do CPR, right? So please don't forget that you can only do CPR on somebody who is not breathing. So it is very key to ascertain if the guy is not breathing. So how do I know if this guy is not breathing? I'll make sure the airways is open. Why the airways is open? This guy airways is open this way. My own eyes will focus on his chest and if possible the stomach to see the rise and fall. My ear is to the nose to listen to the sounds of air that comes through. Then my cheek is to feel for 10 seconds. I'm going to do this. My eyes is focused on the chest to see the rise and fall. My ear is to the nose to listen and to feel just for 10 seconds. 10 seconds is enough for me to know if this guy is not breathing. And if he's not breathing, go straight to chest compression. But if this guy is breathing, either place him in a recovery position, right? So let's just move on. When do I need to stop CPR? It's simple. You need to stop CPR if the scene is becoming unsafe for you. Stop CPR. If qualified helps arrives, somebody who can handle the situation, you don't forget that if you call for ambulance, an ambulance came, you hand over to them. They can. Another thing is this: when the guy gives signs of life or signs or life of return. Oh, let's say while you are doing the chest compression, while you are doing your chest compression, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the person cough or sneeze. If that were you, I'll just tell the person, shut up, shut up. The guy said I should go 30. Why are you coughing now? Why are you sneezing? I'm not there yet. But okay, he just needs to stop because the guy is back to life. Yes, this is also key. You as a person, don't forget that your safety is key. While you are doing the CPR, if you become weak and tired, you can't continue, you stop CPR. And don't forget also, if an authorized person pronounce the person this person is gone. Now, another error we do as first aid that when we do CPR, the CPR is very technical and very key that we're going to need hands on, right? You can see more videos, more online, but you also need to practice to know how to know the effective. Now, another error we do in times of first aid or while giving CPR, when we've done 1 cycles or 2 cycles or 3 cycles, we become so tired. The next thing we stand up and say, oh, this person is gone, this person is dead. Please, as a first aider, at first and foremost, first aid training never qualify you to be a medical doctor or a nurse. Nah. You go pronounce anyone's there, you can be jailed. You can actually be jailed, right? So these are areas where you need to stop CPR. So let's move on. There is what we refer as a defibrillation. A defibrillation is a machine used, a machine that is used to restart the heart when it has stopped working. Okay. If a defibrillation, what we just need to do in times of a defibrillation is simple. Just follow the voice prompts. They are machined. They come with 2 parts. The parts are labeled. You put you through how to use them. So once you place them, follow the instructions. At the end of the day, the defibrillation, we call it AED, automated external defibrillator. AED, automated external defibrillator, are still going to instruct us to give the 30 chest compression and the 2 mouth-to-mouth ventilations. So what we just need to do is very, very simple. Follow the voice prompt and do what is needed. As I said earlier, if you find out that the person is breathing, place this person in a recovering position. Okay, so a quick one. Let me quickly show a video of a recovering position. Okay. So this is a video of putting someone in a recovering position. Okay, so ideally, recovering position is just when you place somebody on the side. Some of you are going to agree with me. If you get home, you're very tired. When you let me on my video so you can see what I want to say. So probably when you get home and you sleep, you're like this on your bed, or you just slam your face on the bed, But by the time you are waking up the following morning, you'll be surprised that you find yourself at the side of the bed. You are by the side, like you are sleeping at the side this way, either to the right or to the left. That is also what we refer as recovering position. So why are we doing that? Is because when you are sleeping like this, you tend to snore more because there is a force affecting your heartbeat that's not making you to breathe normally. So the body will actually adjust itself to the side. You are going to breathing normally, right? So that's another technique about a recovering position. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to round up with this last section of today. Okay, so in the next few minutes, we're going to look at if you have questions, you can start preparing your question down. The next few minutes, I'll be rounding up. As I said, the first thing is just to remind us of some certain skills we already know, also to let us know the importance of first aid. All right, so what are the unconsciousness and its causes? Unconsciousness and its causes. What do you refer to unconsciousness and its causes? Let's big drama. When word unconsciousness simply means when the brain is being disturbed and the person is lost of his environment. The person does not know what is happening to his environment any longer. That is what we refer as unconsciousness. Unconsciousness they could say is in a state of insensibility due to the abnormal functioning of the brain. Abnormal functioning of the brain that leads to loss of environment. It's simple. The brain is being disturbed and the person is not aware of his environment. That is what we refer as unconsciousness. Now, let's look at the causes of unconsciousness. What can cause someone into unconsciousness, or what can lead someone to go into unconsciousness? A quick one. Number one, we have an acronym we call a fish shaped. Fish shaped. Fish and shaped. So any kind of fish that has a shape is just an acronym. The first letter stands for F, stands for fainting. I started the class while I was trying to explain the aims and objectives, or the aims of first aid by saying somebody who's fainted and will pour water. Fainting is simple. It's a temporary collapse due to an insufficient blood to the brain. Now, please, let's get it correctly. Somebody who has fainted does not mean the person is not breathing. It's still breathing. That is where your primary survey is very key. You check for your danger, you check for response, you open the airways, you check if this guy is breathing. Now, if this guy is breathing, what do? It's simple. Don't forget the definition of unconsciousness that says when the brain is being disturbed, that leads to the loss of environment. What can cause somebody to faint? Inactive prolonged standing. Somebody's just standing for so long in a stagnant way, is not moving. Or for few of us in this part of the country called Nigeria, and in a special area in a state called Lagos, where we sit for so long in traffic, like for 3 to 4 or 5 hours. By the time you want to come down from the vehicle, you have a sensation in your leg that looks like an electric disturbance in the leg. That can also lead to fainting. So what do we need to do? The first and foremost we want to do, place this person in a comfortable position. Now, because there is an inadequate supply of blood to the brain, you want to raise this leg up so that the flow of blood goes to the brain. Please don't pour water on them, as I said earlier. This is what we can do in managing fainting. Very, very simple. Very simple. This is the standard way. This is the appropriate way. This is the appropriate method. Now, you keep monitoring your casualty. If the casualty give full consciousness, you cannot place in recovering position. What are you monitoring? You want to make sure this person does not or the heart stop breathing. If the heart has stopped breathing, you want to start the chest compression as quick as possible. Can I see in the chat if you can still hear me and I'm still communicating?
Yes, clearly.
Yeah, good. Yes, I can see it. Yes. Okay, good. Yes. I made the video, sir. Okay.
Yes, I can see clearly.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. Yeah, I just want to know. Right. So fainting has been talked about. The next is what we call imbalance of body heat. Imbalance of body heat. Let's leave big grammar. As I said, first aid is very technical. You don't need grammar. What does this mean is that when the body temperature is either high or low, that is what it means. Now, the implication is that the inner body temperature, which is when it fails to regulate with the external temperature. Now, a good example, we all feel cold, right? Before you know, any small rain, we start looking for cardigan, and we'll be jerking, right? We'll be jerking like this, and there's movements in the mouth. The movement and the jerking is as a result of the internal heat, trying as much as possible to regulate with the external temperature. Now, if these two people does not find themselves in equilibrium, if they are not balanced, that is what we refer as imbalance. Okay, let's go back to Canada. When it's probably their winter period, snow's coming up. You see them wearing a lot of cardigans, they are trying to balance the temperature. That's what we refer as. So the medical terms would be hyperglycemia. Hyperthermia means, I wanted to say hyperglycemia. Hyperthermia means the high body temperature. Hyperthermia means the low body temperature. We adults, we know how to manage this situation. What is the first stage? Somebody's temperature is high. I want to bring it down. Take him away from the suffocated areas where he can receive fresh air. Somebody is cold. What do I do? Get a blanket, cover this person to try as much as possible. You also agree with me that most times when you put on, when somebody is feeling cold, when the person puts on the cardigan or he uses the blanket, he starts sweating. The sweating is as a result of balancing the temperature. They are trying to, as much as possible to come in between, right? Now, what if it happens in baby that as a result of high body temperature, and this is what we refer as infantile convulsion. The baby goes into convulsing. Now, let me tell us a quick one. Why the baby convulses is as a result of the brain thermometer has lost control. The worst the baby will do is cry and start convulsing. Now, what is the danger that we normally do? Putting things in the mouth is wrong. Restraining the baby is wrong. Allow the baby to jack. The best thing you can do is get a door, dip in a room temperature water, just squeeze and place on the forehead. Because what could make the baby jack or go into convulsion is as a result of high body temperature. It's not been advised that when the baby is done jacking or practicing the yes, when it's done, you can bathe with room temperature water and take to the hospital. Or if you want to, you can try it. While the baby is jacking, you want to take the baby like that to the hospital. The nurse or doctor will collect the baby from you, put the baby on the bed. They will allow the baby to do whatever they are done doing. They will even take him to the shower and shower him up. It's as a just that's the simple thing we can do, right? And also make sure you find out, you carry out further medication or further check on this casualty to make sure
Daddy, mo ṣe ń wò pé ká ní pé mo ti rí nọ́mbà tí yín tẹ́lẹ̀ fẹ́ send sí mi yẹn bá ti pè.
Harry. Okay. All right. So let's move on. That's imbalance. The next is what we refer as shock. The next is what we refer as shock. What is shock? In life-threatening conditions, right? That what I want us to believe, or what I want us to learn about shock is that when the circulation in the body is being disturbed, right? When there is a severe shock is as a result of a severe depression on the vital organs in the body that leads to the failure of the circulatory system and leads also to what we refer as body fluids. What are the vital organs in this body? We have the brain, we have the liver, we have the lungs, we have the heart, we have the kidney. When these 5 organs are depressed, that's when shock sets in. A lot of things can cause this shock. Shock can come from anywhere. I like using Major League as an example, right? In most of my classes, I've said, if, for an example, let me look for a name on this league. Okay, like Mr. Ajay, or I want to be sure, either Madam Ajayi Deborah or sorry. Like, and I said, okay, now I want to give you 50 million naira, or let me not use naira. I want to give you 50 million dollars. I'm very sure she will collapse. The reason is because she wasn't expecting. That's shock. That's just it. So the news, anything that affects vital organs of the body that leads to the failure of circulatory system, right? So, example, if somebody is bleeding profusely, the heart is under pressure. The heart to just be keep. It's like when a tank is leaking and the pumping machine will keep working. We keep working because it's the tank is there to fill up. Exactly. So the heart will keep working and it can lead to failure of the circulatory system. So what do I do, or how do I manage shock? Which is very simple. The first and foremost you want to do, can you remove the form of shock? Like the fellow I promised $50 million. Instead of, because I know she's going to go into shock, I won't give her. I've managed shock, right? So another thing I can do is this: allow the person to sit down, lie down. I have to treat the immediate cause of shock. The immediate cause. For few of us that see a lot of movies like the American movies, if there is an accident or you always see them, the ambulance will come with a cardigan or a towel, quickly gives one of, if not the victims or the surrounding. The reason is that they want them to keep warm. So when you keep your casualty warm, it can increase circulation in the body. You want to reassure them. If the casualty can lie down as this, you can raise their leg also to improve circulations. Quickly draw. Let me also see. Am I still communicating? Yes, very clear. Good. All right.
Yes.
Good. Thank you.
Yes, you are.
Enjoying. I want to believe we're enjoying ourselves. I'm also enjoying myself here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Somebody's mic. Okay, so move on. Yes, I have a video to this. Head injury. Let me play this video of head injury to us. Head injury. What do we refer as head injury here? Head injury here means that when okay, yes, this. When there is something to the head that affects the brain, anything that goes to the head that affects the brain is what we refer to head injury. Okay, so let's look at this video. I'm very sure this video does not have a sound. Apologies. So just follow the. Please confirm if you can see the video.
Yes, we
Yes, I
can.
can see.
All right. So this is a slapping competition video, right? So let's see. Look at this guy. I hope we see the video, right? Now,
Yes, sir.
so that is what we refer as head injury. Head injury. It's not until something, let's say, a small cut on the head now. No. So head injury here refers to when when there is a severe impact on the head. Two things can happen to that brain. When there is a severe impact on the head, two things. Either it suffers what we call concussion. Concussion is when there is when the brain shakes, there is a governor shakes on the head that makes the head to shake. That's what that makes the brain rather to shake from its natural position. The brain is like this, something hits the head and the brain shakes this and can shut down everything. A good example is like let's say for a few of us that has a generator that we use wire, we plug into this. If something touches the wire, let's say breeze goes on, it affects the wires, our light goes up in the house, right? Exactly like that. So when there is a forceful shake on the brain that affects the head, that affects the brain, that's what's referred as concussion. Look at that sports video. That's severe slap. There is an impact on the head. It affects the brain. If you could see the last person, he suffered convulsion. The guy goes into convulsion as quick as possible. Yes, it's part of it's part of it, right? So you want to. So what is the first aid here? The first aid here is also very simple. The other part is compression. Compression is what the skull. The compression is the skull, right? Protecting the brain. The skull protecting the brain when it presses down and touches the brain. It could lead to internal injury or external bleedings. That is compression. Okay, so the first and foremost thing you want to do, priority is that are they still breathing? If they're not breathing, you want to do the chest compression. But if they are breathing, if you can leave them in that state, any the time ambulance arrives, or you manage them as spinal cord injuries, right? Okay, let's move on. The next is stroke. What do we refer as stroke here? Stroke is just when the blood vessels that take blood to the brain is either being blocked or ruptured. That's what we refer as stroke, either being blocked or ruptured. So how do we manage such such scenario? It's also a medical condition that's very simple, but you want to act very, very fast. So you first and foremost want to recognize the signs of stroke. The first thing you want to look at the face of this person. When you look at the face of the casualty, is the face as normal as like this, or it has bent? If the face has bent, is a sign. The next, you want to ask this casualty, can you raise your leg? Can you raise your hands? If it successfully raise the 2 hands, it means nothing is wrong. No, you successfully raise to this. But you're going to find on most cases, one hand is raised successfully or stylishly, the other hand may not be. So is a sign. The next, you want to ask them questions. Hello, are you all right? What's your name? And the speech is blurry. You couldn't hear clearly. Another sign. And the T there stands for the time you take this person to the hospital as quick as possible. That is your first aid, or the time the time you call an ambulance, or the time you take the person to the hospital. Okay, yes, that's about stroke. Let's move on to hypoxia or heart attack. Heart attack is synonym to stroke. Heart attack is the blood vessels that takes blood to the body, or that takes blood from the lungs, or the blood vessels that take blood to the heart, or take blood away from. So heart attack can give birth to 2 things. Heart attack occurs when there is a blockage or a rupture also in the blood vessels. You can give birth to 2 things: cardiac arrest or heart failure. Cardiac arrest or heart failure. What do I refer as cardiac arrest? As I mentioned earlier, cardiac arrest is when the heart stops working instantly and the person collapses. That's cardiac arrest. Heart failure is that there is a sensation in the heart. Before you know, the person put onto the heart, it's like this, the eyes are open. He has a deep breath, maybe another 2 hours or 3 hours. So it could lead to either heart failure or cardiac arrest. So these are the possible signs of heart attack: persistent chest pains, breathless discomfort. The person can fall. How do I manage this person? If I observe someone is holding, and one of the signs is that there is a pain on the neck region here, and the person is always like this. You have this person sitting in this half-sitting position. You call the ambulance, okay? And in case the person goes into cardiac arrest, you want to commence your chest compression as quickly as possible. I hope I'm still communicating. I move on to, yes, hypoxia and asphyxia. I'll take the 2 together. They are of the same thing. What we refer as when the oxygen or the blood, either lungs or body tissues suffers oxygen. That oxygen cannot get either to the lungs or to the body tissues. A good example is somebody who is working in a confined space. You will agree with me that is why we do what we call permit to work system in a confined space, because we know that the level of oxygen in a confined space is always reduced. So we want to make sure before somebody is going, oxygen level has been checked. There is somebody who is there to monitor. If it is every 15 minutes or 20 minutes, are you still there? Is there? Okay, because in the prolonged day, it can blood tissues, the oxygen can suffer, that they won't receive oxygen, right? Another example is drowning. Somebody who wants to impress a girl and say, I know how to swim inside the water. The next thing we see him is like, Abu, I will not be shouting, hey, this guy gets kiss, not knowing that he's going gradually, right? Abu, until. So anything that prevents the body tissues or lungs getting air or oxygen is what we either as sometimes you have that asphyxiation. Another example is suffocation, choking. Somebody is eating. Before these are examples of such. So what do we do? Are very also very simple. If they stop breathing, just commence the chest compression as quick as possible. Right? Okay. Yes, I'm rounding up. I want to also find out. Finally, I'm in. Yeah, sorry. Okay. The result is first aid for stroke. I mentioned that fast. Face, speech, and time. Okay. All right. Let me still confirm. Are we still here? And the Gen Z will be shouting, Ishoku. And we will know when it is serious call for help. Yes, you are very correct. Okay, this shows that we are together. Thank you. Thank you. All right, the next is anaphylaxis. Anaphylaxis is a condition where somebody suffered a severe allergic reaction, Now, it becomes anaphylaxis that when this one it comes to a stage of anaphylaxis, when the person starts have difficulties in breathing. Good example, let's say I'm eating granules or I'm eating crayfish or I'm eating banana, a good example. Before you know, I'm start having splash shit on my head. I'm doing like this. The next thing, pimples or small spots start coming in, and I'll start as if I'm having asthma. That's all referred as anaphylaxis. For if it's not severe, it's not anaphylaxis, it's just a reaction. Every one of us, by one way or the other, we have been able to react to one or two things. Yes, we have been able to react, but it has not become serious that our breath. So if it comes to that level, the best thing you want to do, you can also manage the person as shock, or you ask the person, you first and foremost disengage the casualty from what is reacting to. Because the granite, take the granite away first and manage as shock. Majority of them that they know that, oh, I'm an allergic, I'm an anaphylaxis patient. They most times go about with their epinephrine. Like you just need to jack into their labs, and it will relieve them, right? Okay, so the best we can do, remove the cause of what's it called, what that makes them go into that reactions, start monitoring them, manage them as shock, cover them up, keep reassuring them, right? And if eventually they stop breathing, you want to commence your chest compression as quick as possible. You want to commence your CPR as quick as possible. Okay, the next is poison. Poison is anything. Poison is anything introduced into the body system that either cause primary damage or permanent damage, or temporary damage rather, or permanent damage. That's what as corrosive poison. These are the one that has burns effect, that can burn the skins, right? Non-corrosive could be a food poison, could be alcohol intake or drug abuse system, right? These are examples of non-corrosive. So corrosive poison, this is where someone is introduced to chemical like acid, or is introduced to chemical, high concentrated chemicals like in Nigeria here, we have NIPA, we have PMS, normal petrol, we have again like Jig IPOs that we used to clean our toilets. They have a high rate of reaction on the system. So not talk of someone who's sworn. There are virtual areas how someone can poison can get into the system. We're not going into that. But how do we manage either a corrosive or non-corrosive, right? Your primary aims and objective is to make sure they're in comfortable position. For a corrosive poison, please do not give them milk. Do not give them the part of this country, Nigeria. Give them anything by mouth. If at all you want to give, it's recommended if it is water. But most times, it says do not give anything. Monitor their levels of what's it called? Monitor their levels of responses, and your priority, if you can go with the content they've swallowed to the hospital as possible, right? That's the standard. Don't complicate issues. The only advantage, like the palm oil or milk we do, is just that it will coat the stomach. When you coat the stomach, it will reduce the assimilation of poison to the body system. That is the only advantage. But the risk is that it can cause another thing in the stomach. So do not forget that if you introduce this palm oil, if you introduce this milk into the system, let's say this person has taken high concentration thing, it will cause another reaction in the stomach. It can eat up the intestines. It can lead to epilepsy. It can lead to death itself instantly. So the priority is that monitor, reassure this person, and take them to the hospital as quick as possible. Okay, The next is epilepsy. Epilepsy fix, this is a condition we refer as neurologic brain disorder. Brain disorder. So a lot of things causes it, a lot of things. If anyone has ever had an injury with the head before, look at the slapping competition I showed earlier. The last guy went into convulsion as a result of an impact. It's a brain disorder, right? So what do we do? What do we do to this kind of casualties? They are very, very, very simple. They are very simple. Allow them. The worst you can do is let the environment be clear for them. Allow them to do the jacking. Give them the space. Once they are done, check their level of responses. Are they still breathing? If they are not breathing, commence CPR instantly. But if they are breathing, place them in a recovering position. That's just it. Do not put anything to the mouth. Don't even restrict them, because it's epilepsy has its stages, right? That's the first thing we can do to them. It's very simple. Okay. Yes. The last part of this is diabetes emergency. Diabetes. What do we refer as diabetes here? All of us are not new to it, rather. This is when the insulin fails to regulate body sugars. It fails when this is where the insulin fails. So either the blood sugar is high or it's low. Okay. What is the first aid here? The first aid says, except you know, the best way you can know if this person is diabetes is when the person has gone to the hospital to carry a test to know. But the best we could do is that there's what we call hypoglycemia and hyperglycemia. Hypo means low, hyper means high. So for hypo, most times you manage as fainting. Once they fall like that, you want to have them lie down. The worst thing they will tell you is that weak, I'm tired, I need something to drink. You can give them any sugary thing. For hyper, you can also give something sugary. Either it has no little effects on them. But the priority is that as soon as they collapse, it becomes an emergency when they stop breathing, right? So when they stop breathing, it wants to commence the chest compression as quick as possible. With these few points of mine, I want to say thank you and God bless you. Mr. Walila.
Hello.
Jamal. Hi.
Yes, yes. Back to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Sam. It was really an enlightening section, and wow, the plan before was to spend 50 minutes to 1 hour, but you are close to almost 1.5 hours now, if not more. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for making it a wonderful section, and we hope everyone has learned a whole lot from this. And I know that you are very energetic and you are very resourceful. That you have so many things to you have so many things to offer us.
Wow, I apologize. I should be tired. So sorry about that.
No, it is not a problem. It is what it is. It shows that you are passionate about what you do, and that is what makes you unique in your field. Thank you so much for spending so much time to explain this to us.
Thank you. I'm grateful. Thank you so much. Back to you, sir.
Sorry, I have a question.
If you have any question, please, apologies. If you have any question, please let us ask.
Please, I have a question. I have a question. I have a question. Can I go ahead?
Please go ahead, sir.
Please, my question is this, very briefly, although it was not touched while the section is going on. In case we have a situation of
go ahead, sir.
A snake bite.
I didn't get that. Can you type that? I didn't hear you very well.
I'm talking of snake bite. Snake bite.
Okay.
How do you handle first aid case for a snake bite? Just very brief and short.
All right. Let me quickly answer that. Well, snake bites. One thing we want to. What really kills people most is not the venom, is the frightening and the fear, right? So, how to manage snake bite? It's very simple. First and foremost, it's very difficult for the casualty to keep calm. Very, very difficult. But you want to see as much as possible. You want to keep the casualty calm. If the casualty can be calm, now there are areas where you want to identify. There are areas where you want to identify if the snake is venomous. If the snake is venomous or not venomous, right? Okay. So there are areas where you want to know. Now, one thing about snake bite is that what is always advisable is that when a snake has strikes someone, keep the person calm. Don't do the one we do in this part of our country that look for blade and tear the person skins and say we want to remove the venom. No, we are wrong. That's even an error. Or they will say we want to tie the upper part of the leg so that the venoms will not travel. We are deceiving ourselves. If the person is panicking, it's very panicking, the venous travels as quick as possible. Less than a minute or two, it has got to the heart. But if the person is calm, it will take a long process. Another thing we advise, or we normally advise, that can the snake be killed? If the snake is killed, why are we killing the snake? Two things. We want to know the kind of species of snake that's beating this person. Another thing, if it's a venomous snake, the antidote for every venomous snakes are always on their tail. I normally joke of such in this my class that I will teach you how to catch a snake. If you want to catch a snake, don't go to the head, because if you go to the head, you just deceive yourself. So when you see a snake, when you stand on the tails, you want to bring the head to strike the leg, just catch from the head. That's how you can. So that's just by the way, but that's what you can do. Make the casualty calm, take the person to the hospital as quick as possible. I hope you.
All right. The next person, please, kindly ask your question, please.
Okay. Thank you very much for this presentation. I want to ask based on combustion. I remember when I was growing up, one of my niece, she usually get this convulsion, and they usually put spoon inside her mouth. Is it also part of first aid? Because when you're talking about convulsion, you didn't mention anything like that. I want to know if it's also part of first aid treatment.
Okay, a quick one, madam. Putting what's it called? Spoons or anything in the mouth is wrong. The danger is that you can endanger the casualty's teeth. The casualty can lose his teeth, and two, you can cause suffocation. The casualty can suffocate or choked as a result of the items you're putting into the. Now, let me. We don't have that time though, but let me just quickly say the differences now. Now, when somebody is convulsing, in our basic biology, they will tell us that we have voluntary muscles and involuntary muscles. Voluntary muscles are the muscles we can control, while involuntary muscles are the muscles we cannot control. When someone is dangling that way, when he's convulsing, when this person is convulsing that way, if the person exhibits involuntary muscles, you cannot control that muscle at all. You can't. At that level, it can even injure you when you go closer to the person, right? So you just want to leave the person the way he's doing. It's a normal thing. Do not forget that there is what we call actually we have a bit different with a seizure, convulsion, and epilepsy. Not any of these days. If I can have the time to attend one of the first aid class for proper explanation, but when you just don't put anything, and the risk is that you can damage the teeth of the person. Don't forget the aims and objective of first aid that says you want to prevent the condition from getting worse. I believe that has been very helpful. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
All right. This is just a little contribution to the case of snake bites. You actually talked about finding out the kind of snake, if it's venomous or non-venomous. Though you didn't touch much on how to identify a venomous snake or a non-venomous snake. Those with the fangs are venomous, and those without the fangs, especially when you get the place of a snake bite, if you see two dots, let me use that word, where it's bleeding out, that will say it was a fanged snake that beats the person, and that is venomous, a venomous snake. But if it's like a teeth bite, not the fanged ones, then it's a non-venomous snake. I want to also throw light on that, if I'm actually right, sir.
You're very much correct. We are time bound, right? First
Mr. Sampson.
Yes, boss.
Sorry. Before you go ahead, I think we need to make this very clear. This is an enlightenment session and not a full training session, because I've seen a couple of persons talk saying you didn't touch it, you didn't touch it. There's no way he will touch every part of first aid in an enlightenment session of 1 hour, 30 minutes. If it's a full 3 days first aid training, so please, this is an enlightenment section, and you can add your contribution. You can contribute and also mention, but saying that he didn't touch this is like saying that maybe he's not aware of it. We can contribute and we can also add our own. It is welcomed, but not saying that he didn't touch, like maybe he didn't forget. Please let us understand that it's just an enlightenment section.
That was why I said
every single part of first aid.
That is why I said I was
thank you very much, sir.
to what
really
he said,
that.
sir. All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, I really love that. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate you. All right, Mr. Sampson, over to you.
Okay, I don't think I have anything to say concerning that. Just mention that.
Please, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, boss.
Yeah, sorry, pardon the background of where I'm talking from. Some time ago I learned that they have stopped after COVID-19, stopped giving mouth-to-mouth breath. Is it still applicable up to now?
Okay, you're correct. During the 2019-2020, we advised not to do mouth-to-mouth, but there are specifications where the person is a family-related person. If it's your wife, your husband, your child, you must do mouth-to-mouth. But now, if we are back to the normals, that 30 chest compression, but the risk is still there that you can contact COVID-19, you can contact another external diseases. But what you just need to do, if you want to do mouth-to-mouth, is at your risk. But if you don't want to do mouth-to-mouth, no problem. Just go ahead with your 30 chest compression. But don't forget that, yes, the guideline is that if it's your family related, you can do mouth-to-mouth. Or if you have shared the same room with the person for 3 to 4 hours, even during COVID-19, when you shared, let's say when you Zoom offices, are sitting with someone for the next 3-4 hours, you are in an enclosed area, my brother, you can do mouth-to-mouth because you have shared the same risks of COVID-19. I hope that's helpful.
Thank you.
Lisa, what are the items we can have in the first aid kit, and what are we not supposed to have in the first aid kit, sir?
Okay, on that, I will ask, just message Mr. Okay, give you the list of what you want the first aid kit, right? As I said earlier, yeah, first aid kit depends on your specifications, your area of work, and personnel you have on site. Thank you.
Hello, please, I have a question. I have a contribution, please.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, it's about the mouth-to-mouth that was discussed. The question that the gentleman asked, in fact, current protocols is saying that if you feel unsafe or you feel you cannot do mouth to mouth, you can do chest compressions only CPR, which is allowed. But mouth to mouth ideally was not stopped during the protocols review. So current protocols is saying that if you feel you are unsafe, it doesn't matter who you are dealing with, you feel you don't want to do it because of certain conditions, then you can do chest compressions only. But if you have a mask or a barrier, then you can do your mouth to mouth and then blow your 2 rescue breaths. Thank you.
Yes, you are very, very correct. As I said, the guideline was that even while you want to practice in the 2020 and 2019, even while you want to practice your CPR, you must cover the person's nose, either with what's it called, a nose mask or a piece of cloth. And the guidelines system. But if you are not convenient, if you are not if you don't feel like doing, no, thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. I think this will be the end of today's section. It's we have time well spent. We have a good time well spent, and the time is fast spent also. Thank you everyone for being a part of this wonderful section. Thank you for taking your time to be with us.
I have a question. Can I go ahead? Please, I have a question.
What's that?
Can I go ahead?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry for interrupting you. My question is, what's the first aid for someone suffering stroke? Because I've been in a situation whereby the stroke just started and the person collapsed before getting to the hospital. The person entered coma. So in that kind of situation, what will be the first aid to give to the person?
Okay. The first thing is as soon as find out that check if he's still breathing. Is he breathing? If it's not, commence your chest compression. Start your CPR. That's that. But if it's like the fast the face has dropped, let's say one of the face has dropped once, the person raise the hands, start taking the person to the hospital. But what stroke is one of the causes of unconsciousness. As he has collapsed, you have checked if he's breathing. If he's not breathing, commence the chest compression.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Sam, please help me to end the class. I'm currently driving and I don't want to talk, be on the call while driving. So please kindly end the class. We have an ISO class, 14,001 coming up next week. Anyone who's interested should please get in contact with us. For a food first aid training, you can also get in contact with Mr. Sam. Thank you everyone for your time we spent. Mr. Sam, please kindly go ahead to help us to end the session. You can also end the class when you're through. Thank you and God bless you. Mr. Sam, can't you hear me? Hello? Hello, Mr. Sam, I can't hear you now.
Yeah, I can hear you. What did you say?
So you didn't hear all I said this morning?
Can you hear me? My network was...
All right, please. Thank you, everyone, for
I didn't hear what you said.
time was
About
spent. No problem. No problem. If you are interested in a full first aid training with Mr. Sam, you can get in contact with him for a full first aid training. Kindly get in contact with him any day, anytime. And you can also get in contact with us too at Cordial Safety Consult. It's always a win-win. We believe in mutual benefits and growing ourselves and supporting ourselves as much as we can. So either you meet with Cordial Safety Consult, we are fine. And if you also decide to meet with Mr. Meba Sam also, we are also fine. Thank you so much. Next week, this Monday, we are starting an ISO class. ISO 14001 Environmental Management System. Will you be interested? You can also get in contact with us at Cordial Safety Consult. The class is starting tomorrow, and it's for 120,000 naira only for ISO 14001 lead auditor course. So if you're interested, please let us know. I will be ready. We'll be glad to have you in class. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We can all unmute now.
Thank you
We
very
can
much.
unmute now and thank Mr. Meba Sam for a well detailed presentation. It did justice to the topic.
Thank you, Mr.
So
Sampson.
much.
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Sampson. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Please, can you please post your number on the chat box, please?
Thank you very much. You please. Value.
Yes, sir.
Value, please.
Yes, I posted the number, sir.
Okay.
Bye-bye, everyone. See you some other time. And don't forget, ISPON must be one. One ISPON, United ISPON. We are starting a new mission next week. Thank you, and God bless you.
704-973.
Thank you all. God bless you.